Have you ever been on a team where the big project feels like a ship just lost at sea with no map? Well, today we're going to demystify project management. We're going to uncover those simple, really powerful principles that can turn all that workplace chaos into controlled, successful projects. So let's dive right in.
Here's our game plan. First, we're going to look at that chaos and why project management even exists. Then, we'll nail down what a project actually is and go through its 5-phase life cycle. After that, we'll get into the iron triangle, which is the constant balancing act of any project. And finally, we'll see how different methods and master plans bring the whole thing together.
All right, Section 1, from chaos to control. Why is it that some projects just take off and succeed, while others, well, they just crash and burn? Let's get into it.
I mean, think about it for a second. You've probably been there. Deadlines get blown past, the budget just explodes, and it feels like nobody really knows what they're supposed to be doing. And that final result? Yeah, not exactly what anyone had in mind. That kind of chaos is exactly what good project management is designed to prevent.
So, the solution to all that chaos? It really starts with being clear. In this next section, we're going to lock down the two most important definitions you absolutely need to know: what a project is and what project management is actually all about.
Okay, so what is a project? The two keywords to remember here are temporary and unique. A project is not your day-to-day work. It has a very clear start and a definite finish line. And the whole point is to create something new. Could be an app, a marketing campaign, heck, even building a skyscraper.
And project management? Well, that's the how. It's the playbook, really. It's how you apply all your knowledge, your team's skills, and the right tools to steer that unique, temporary project all the way to the finish line so it meets every requirement.
So, now that we know what we're dealing with, how does a project actually happen? That brings us to Section 3, the 5 project phases. Think of this as the universal roadmap for taking pretty much any idea from just a spark of inspiration to a fully finished reality. It all kicks off with initiating. That's where you get the official green light to go. Next up is planning, and this is huge. It's where you map out the entire game plan. Then comes executing. This is when the team actually does the work. But, and this is crucial, at the same time you're monitoring and controlling, tracking everything and making adjustments as you go. And finally, once the goal is hit, you wrap it all up officially in the closing phase.
Okay, so you've got your 5 phases, but what's the one thing that's always trying to pull your project apart at the seams? Well, that brings us to Section 4, the iron triangle. This is the high-stakes balancing act that is at the very heart of every single project.
The 3 points of this triangle are scope, time, and cost. Scope is what you're building, all the work, all the features. Time is your schedule, your deadline. And cost, that's your budget. The thing is, these 3 are totally locked together in this delicate dance.
And here is the unbreakable rule. You cannot change one corner of that triangle without messing with at least one of the others. It's just not possible. If a client wants to add a cool new feature, which increases the scope, then you have to get more time to build it or a bigger budget for more resources. There's no magic wand here. You always have to make a trade-off.
And this right here is the real art of project management. It's not about saying no to change. It's about being an expert at navigating these trade-offs. The goal is to communicate what's possible and make the right calls so that in the end, everybody agrees the project was a success.
Now, how you manage those trade-offs really depends on the project itself. So in our last section, we're going to zoom out a bit. We'll see that project management isn't some rigid one-size-fits-all system. We're going to look at different methods and see how they all fit into the bigger picture.
2 of the biggest approaches you'll hear about are waterfall and agile. Think of waterfall like building a house. You have to finish the foundation before you start on the walls. It's sequential, step by step, and it works great when you know exactly what you need from the very beginning. Agile, on the other hand, is built for projects where things might change, like software development. It's all about working in short cycles, building something, getting feedback, and adapting as you go. It's way more flexible.
And projects almost never live in a vacuum. A program might group a bunch of related projects together. Like, imagine one project to design a new satellite and another to build the rocket to launch it. Then all of a company's programs and individual projects make up its portfolio, which is all aligned with those big strategic company goals.
So, when you boil it all down, project management is really the engine that turns chaos into something valuable. It's the structure, the control, that lets us navigate that constant tug-of-war between scope,
time, and cost to deliver something unique and successful.
And that leaves me with a final question for you. In your own work, in the projects you're on, which corner of that iron triangle feels the most pressure? Is it always about the deadline, the budget, or is it scope creep? The answer can tell you a lot about what your team really prioritizes. Thanks for joining me for this explainer.